Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the Knife Center, and today we're taking a look at the best butterfly knife trainers that you can get right now in 2020. Let's check them out. So I know we're all social distancing these days, but we've got a perfect activity that you can do at home, all by yourself, learning to flip a butterfly knife. Now, if you're nervous about taking up this hobby with a live sharpened blade, the answer is a Balisong trainer. Balisong, of course, is just another word for butterfly knife. Now, just like quote-unquote real Balis, trainers can run the gamut from very affordable all the way up to premium options that are built just like the premium knives. And just because the blade doesn't have an edge doesn't mean they're that much cheaper to produce, so if you want the best action, you are going to have to pay for it. But thankfully, there's still plenty of good options, even on the lower end, that can get you started. Now, some of the most affordable options out there come from Bear & Sons, with this particular one coming in about $40. Now, it definitely doesn't come with premium action, but if you're on the fence and not sure if you want to pursue the hobby or not, these are definitely good enough to try without breaking the bank, and it's even still made in the USA. Now you'll see that the blade here, quote unquote, has some holes in it, which is something you see often on trainers, and the reason for that is balance. When it comes to a live blade, which is how we talk about Balis that have an actual sharpened edge, those blades have grinds and bevels that remove weight. Well, the trainer blade blank does not, which is why you see those holes. This is especially important on versions of trainers that also have live bladed counterparts, just like this Bear in fact does. That way, whatever you learn on the trainer can be used when you move over to the live blade, and it's going to feel pretty much the same. Now, as far as looks go, this particular Bear has a silver crackle finish on the steel handles. They look great, but they're not just for looks. They also add a little bit of texture for a better hold. Now, the pivots here are pinned, which means they're not adjustable, but the handles themselves are a single piece of steel. This is integral construction, something you only really see at higher price points usually. A little bit cheaper at about 25 bucks, but still a pretty good option, is the imported Boker Magnum 2nd Gen Balisong trainer. It's got a cool black stonewashed finish on both the handles and the unsharpened blade. Now, there's no live bladed version of this knife that we can get, because by law, all butterfly knives sold in the US have to be also made here. But trainers aren't actually knives though, so the same doesn't apply to them. This design is a little bit more svelte overall, both in the handles as well as in the blade that comes in at about 4 inches. A bit on the smaller end of the spectrum for a full-size butterfly knife. Commonly, you'll see things between 4 and 5 inches most of the time. The steel on the blade is 440A stainless. Not that it really matters what it's made out of, because you don't actually have to worry about edge retention since there's no edge to begin with. The pivots here are adjustable, they're not pinned, which is a step up from the Bear, and the action is nice and smooth. This is another great option if you're just looking to dip your toes in the water and see if the hobby's for you. All right, stepping up into the mid-range tier is going to bring us back to American construction. We've got the Mako here, made by Squid Industries. And they actually make trainers at a range of prices, and they're kind of regarded as making some of the best out there. This one comes in at only 75 bucks. The pivots are adjustable and they are rock solid, riding on brass bushings. The handles are aluminum, which is lighter and easier to flip typically than stainless steel. And with this, you have a feeling of rigidity that you don't get from the cheaper trainers we just saw. I've got the gray version here, but of course multiple colors can be had, and the Mako gets its name from its sharky looking blade shape. We've got a dorsal fin accent, some cutouts that look like gills, and the mouth also doubles as a bottle opener. It even has a very heavy stone-washed finish too, which I really like. Now, most Balis actually have a latch that's going to hold the handles together, and it'll usually work in both the open and closed position. And usually this is anchored to the handle that faces the sharpened edge of the live blade, also called the bite handle. This helps to distinguish it from the safe handle when you're in the middle of tricks. Now, the Mako actually has no latch on the handle, so it does require you to pay close attention when you're flipping. At the end of the day though, that might actually make you a better flipper, because it definitely requires you to up your game if you're going to transition to a live blade eventually. All right, now we're going to jump up into the more premium realm with another option from Squid Industries. This is the Squid Trainer V35. Starts at 150 bucks, but this particular blue one is about 175 right now. Now, this is still a latchless design, and the handles here are aluminum, and they offer a more premium execution of an integral handle construction. Milled from a single piece of metal, this creates a rock-solid foundation for all the rest of the hardware. It feels even more solid than the Mako. The handles are lightly machined with some overlapping circles, and when you combine that with the milled channel and the holes in there, they actually grip very well. I think this blue one looks especially striking, but again, there are other colors to pick from, including the plain gray, which is, as I said, about 25 bucks cheaper right now. Now the trainer blade you see here actually gets a premium feature as well, and that's a crown spine, which increases the comfort as you flip, especially on any move where you're going to interact with the spine as you're flipping. And that action really is great on this knife. It has bronze bushings again, glides easily, and still feels nice and solid. And it even has a nice ring to it, literally. They're so well tuned that it literally sings out as the metal vibrates, almost like a subtle chime. All right, the last of the quote-unquote proper trainers that I'll show you today is the 62T from Benchmade, the trainer version of their famous 62 butterfly knife, which is something of a gold standard out there. And it's got blade length, weight, and action that are identical to the real thing. Benchmade, of course, started out making just butterfly knives. Their company was called Balisong, in fact, and they even used the old logo here on this blade. That history is the reason you see a butterfly in Benchmade's logo to this day, so that makes sense that they make one of the best trainers out there too. Now the 62T actually offers a pretty significant savings versus the bladed version. Right now that comes in a little bit over 400 bucks, but this is actually a fair bit cheaper, only about $235 right now. The handles are stainless steel with plenty of holes for grip and weight reduction. And the 440C trainer blade is red in this case. That makes it really easy to distinguish at a glance between this and the live bladed version, even when it's closed thanks to all those holes. This is definitely an appreciated feature when you have both live blade and trainer versions of the same knife, because the last thing you want to do is be flipping a live blade when you think you've got your trainer in hand. What's nice too is the red finish here is actually a Cerakote for durability. Because you are going to drop this after all as you're practicing, and this should help the finish resist chipping over time. Another thing worth mentioning, Benchmade's actually known for their spring-loaded latches that pop out when you squeeze the handles. This one actually does not have that feature, just a very high tolerance fit instead. Now this has always been a pretty good bargain when you compare it to the live bladed version, but the price is extra low right now because there's only one bit of bad news. This trainer is actually discontinued. So even though we still have some while we're posting this video, we don't know how long they're gonna last. So if you wanna get one of the most well-regarded flippers on the market, now's the time to act. Lastly, I've got a couple that I like to call novelty trainers, and even though their blades may seem a little bit gimmicky, it doesn't mean that they aren't still good. And the first is the Artisan Cutlery Kinetic tool. First, they go further than just having the bottle opener like that Squid Mako. And in fact, we have a full-fledged multi-tool arm with several functions. You got the bottle opener here, an O2 wrench, several hex wrench sizes, as well as a pry bar at the tip. They've also got a new version, the Kinetic Tool 2 series, which has a different tooling arm and a slightly different handle design. And the tool here has a few different bottle opener tops, some hex wrenches, a nail puller. You get the picture. You've got your choice of handle materials on both of these too. You can get it in stainless steel. There's also G10 and carbon fiber options that add a scale. And as you step up the ladder, you can get to full machine titanium at the top end, including this black one here, as well as this anodized green on the Kinetic Tool 2. Now the prices certainly range as a result, but they only start at about 60 bucks for the cheapest options. Now when you're looking at that price range, you're definitely going to be able to get better action with that Squid Mako, but the action is definitely fine and it's plenty good enough to learn on with the Kinetic tool. It has a great party trick though. On top of all of that, it actually has automatic action as well. That's right, this is a hybrid butterfly multi-tool automatic. You just push that button and the multi-tool springs out as though it was a switchblade. Doesn't get much cooler than that. Finally, if you want real premium action, but you want something more than just a simple trainer blade, this is the Wii Knife Company Nerve Bally Comb that comes in just under 200 bucks. Now, everything about this trainer screams premium. We've got integral handles just like the Squid, but these are made from titanium and feature a lot more milling going on. The pivots ride on ceramic bearings rather than washers, and they are smooth as can be. The latch tucks in very neatly, and we've even got a nice machined pocket clip, which is a really nice touch, because really this is something that would definitely be handy to carry with you day to day. In fact, the same goes for the second generation of the Kinetic tool as well. You can carry that multi-tool with you and still be able to flip as you go about your business. All right, that's it for my list today, and I'd love to hear what you all thought down in the comments. Are any of you looking to get started? Would you buy a trainer or would you go straight for a live blade? Be sure to let us know, and if you want to get your hands on any of these knives, or not really knives, but you know what I mean. We'll leave links in the description that'll take you over to KnifeCenter.com. Now, I apologize that we didn't have a ton of flipping photography, a ton of flipping action in this video. Our resident flipper is actually no longer working with us. So I, in fact, may be taking up this hobby myself, see if I can improve while I'm working from home these days. And while you're over there at the Knife Center, make sure you're signed up for our Knife Rewards program while you're there, because you might as well earn some free money if you're gonna buy at one of these Balisong trainers anyway. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. I hope you're all staying safe, sane, and sanitary out there. See you next time.